Welcome. You are now in Ray's Juke Joint. This is the Pickoff Baseball Show. Uh, it's me, Ray the Barber, um, along with Eric. How you doing, my boy?
Good, buddy. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Winter meeting started today.
Winter meetings are today. We are live. We got a lot to cover. With the winter meeting starting, this is what we do. This is our third year running, Eric. Did you know that?
Yeah.
This is our third coverage of winter meetings on our channel. And I'm hoping that we keep growing, keep getting bigger, and I think people enjoy. There are people reaching out to you,
Yeah.
trying to see what we're going to talk about and can they get some suggestions. And I think that's the fun part of what we do. Like it kind of just like it just affirms to me that we're on the right track, and it's if we just keep plugging along. And I don't care if we got 100 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. The content is what makes our show unique, and also the fact that we're growing as a channel with a new show starting tomorrow and another show coming real soon uh, that's going to be covering baseball also, but on the other side of town.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that's coming. And whenever I could get my hockey show off the ground, we'll be 360, Chicago sports coverage, and just basically, but baseball is our thing, and that's what we talk about. And uh, with the winter meeting starting, um, it's full blown. And then like today, we opened up the fantasy league for waiver claims and everything like that. We had some hurdles to get by, but it's full blown, and the guys are in our home league are going absolute bonkers right now.
Yeah. Trades are popping off. People are cutting people. Like, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
I feel like, listen, baseball is a year-round sport. And it always has been for you and I, because we love the off season and we love the winter meetings. We love that they're going. And just to your point about content, like, you're right. Like, the fact of the messages that we get, validating other people's stories, saying what they think. Hey, does this team really have enough to get Crochet? The fact that like people are taking time to like DM and reach out, and from many different angles, that's the stuff that I like. And I think people like the fact that, listen, we don't have a whole lot of, I don't know what you want to say, pizzazz, tricks. It's just solid content, true information, and take it for what you want. But it's honest thought through, and we put the work in, and that's why the stuff comes back to be legit.
And before we get started, I do want to shout out John at Trade Values his website. It is our go-to. It is our helper, our tool. John came on the show when we very first started, explained everything. I fell in love with the site.
Yeah.
And he has a 95 plus percentage accuracy rate with his values, as opposed to people just throwing stuff to the wind. We can actually use that as a tool to kind of predict where people are going, and we've been doing it for years now, ever since we started working with him and using the site and everything like that. So shout out to John. He's just a really good dude, and his team is doing an outstanding job. And we're going to get into crochet here in a minute, guys, so be patient with us. We're just trying to do some little housework, house cleaning, announcements and type stuff. But it's like a moving machine, and it needs people to make it work. And his algorithm and the input they put in is beyond reproach. Like,
he just put out a great little deal, trade value deal, on how you and I have talked about it last show. We're going to talk about it today, like how the market's moved and what really impacts it, and what they move the value for, and what they don't move the value for. It's like, it's a science. He's not guessing. It's not like some of the writers you see that go to MLB Pipeline. They pull up and they see, oh, look at their number 1 and 2 prospects. Like, I'll give you an example. The Cubs guys, some White Sox media guys that had me tweeting, like, when they thought Kessé or whatever could be a headliner for deal, they don't realize he's worth like $10 million.
Yeah.
Like,
Casey. Yeah.
Because, well, he's number 2 in their system. Yeah, well, MLB pipeline's old. It's like going to your grandfather for, dating advice. Like, that stuff's old. It's old.
Yeah, so it's and then I put myself out there and I said, like, what was that last week? I put out a tweet saying that Crochet, um if the Cubs want him, it has to include Matt Shaw, and I call hell from Cubs fans.
Oh,
I call hell from Cubs
you
fans.
would think he was the second coming. You would think he was Juan Soto or like Bryce Harper when they were young. Like,
yeah, like I call hell, bro. Like, it was crazy. Like,
you know what's crazy? We'll go through it in a second, but
yeah.
Remind me when we get to the Cubs thing, how crazy it is. Like, how little they understand. Like, I thought White Sox, when I first got on Twitter, I knew front office is behind and it's still behind.
Yeah.
Like, your leaders of stuff, and everybody knows who they are. I don't got to call them out. A leader of content.
Yeah.
It's all bad. I mean, trade value wise, it's all old school, behind the times.
Yeah.
None of it do I consider to be much relevant. But when you started interacting with the Cubs fans, they know less than the White Sox fans do as far as the value goes. Like, it was drastically less.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But let's get it right into it.
Let's go.
Juan Soto is a metropolitan, a New York City metropolitan. Who saw that coming, Eric? Huh?
Yeah.
Who saw that coming?
Yeah. That's what we predicted.
We did. We predicted it.
Yeah. I mean,
and we had our reason.
15 years. I told everybody 700 million. They didn't think 700 million.
I said it too.
Yeah.
I said
you just
725.
gotta understand, the market some of the times. But I was happy because we predicted it. I was a little disappointed. They were kind of pulling at my heartstrings. Like, I'm not a Red Sox fan or nothing else.
Yeah.
But when they were talking about Manny, Pedro, Big Papi, the Dominican deal, and how like he wanted to be part of the Boston thing, I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's going to come down to years of money. I think he wants to continue on
legacy,
a Dominican deal in Boston, and I go, that's kind of cool. Never mind, I'm just kidding. It was about the money. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so here, let's talk about it. So Juan Soto, massive deal. Let me get this banner out of here. 15 years, $765 million deal. Equals out to like $51 million a year, $52 million a year.
Yeah. But the club's got to opt him back in and raise him up even higher here in a few years. I think it was 5 years.
Yeah, I took a peek at it on Sports Track, and I said, "Good God!"
Yeah,
it's insane numbers, insane options, insane incentives. It's just like, and the guy is staying in New York, and he's moving from the Bronx to Queens, and I've seen several New Yorkers. I've seen several New Yorkers losing their shit.
They're not taking it well.
They're not taking it well. They're not taking it well. And what's his name? Hal, the son of Steinbrenner. Hal. I want to say his name's Hal. Yeah, he's catching flack on Twitter. Every social media outlet right now. Hal Steinbrenner is catching hell.
Well, it's not your old grandfather's Yankees anymore. You just don't get what you want. And the worst part about it is little brother is no longer little brother. I mean, the Mets for a long time were the second show in New York. And this shows that that's not necessarily no longer the case. Like,
this is off topic, but do they bring back Pete Alonso?
Yeah.
They have to, right?
Well, I'm going to guess that was part of this deal.
Right.
I mean, Soto was all about winning. I'll give him that. He wanted to break down what the development looked like, what the pipeline looked like. So they sold him on a future, and they sold him on ability to win now. So I'm assuming that's got to be Alonso's got to come back.
It's got to be back because, Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Vientos,
they can put Beatty at third, and they can move Vientos to first. Like, I saw that deal, and it's not the end of the world, but I just can't imagine that they're going to leave Soto in this lineup with Vientos protecting him. Like, I feel like they're one piece short, and I think they know that. And I think it's probably and everybody. Listen, you don't think Mets fans would be ecstatic to get the polar bear and Soto back in the same year? Like, the buzz is going to be electric in New York.
Yeah,
Absolutely electric.
I every time I go to New York, it's something happens. I don't get a chance to go to a game, but I have to go to City Field this year
Yeah,
and see Soto. And I wouldn't mind just getting over to the Bronx and going to Yankee Stadium
we
like
should
this.
go to. Should just just go to a Mets Yankees game. I
Yeah,
bet that'd be
that
fun.
would be sick. I
You
don't
know,
even know if I would want to go because
and you
like
know what? You know where I feel for. You know where I feel for the front offices a little bit.
yeah,
Like, let's say you're one of the teams that just lost out. Say you're
yeah,
Boston. Say you're the Yankees. Say you're
hmm
whatever. Whoever the next guy that you sign is, you're catching even more shit because it wasn't Juan Soto. It
yeah.
doesn't matter who it is.
Doesn't matter who it is.
Especially if you sign like some back end bullpen piece for a 1 year, $3 million
Yeah,
deal. They're gonna all the fans are just coming back out.
it's
They're
like
all
oh,
coming back out, coming for
you
your head.
yeah, yeah. So let's talk about this though. The Yankees had an offer that was $5 million less and 1 more year more.
Yep.
So they were in the running. I
And
guess
I guess they had a chance. Somebody came back and said they had a chance at the end, and they just passed. And whoever reported that, pretty much like you said, just hung it on Steinbrenner. Like,
yeah, yeah. And then Dan, one of our friends, kind of broke down something else that had come out about his family not
yeah,
being
they
not being
got
treated,
tossed out of a couple different situations. Some guys that work for him and
the
their
security.
family. So
Yeah, crazy, crazy. So he is a New York Met, and he was the biggest domino that needed to fall in free agency, right?
biggest one ever. Now, I mean,
Yeah, biggest one ever, right?
total value wise, I
Yeah,
mean, Otani got more AAV, but I mean,
yeah, like
biggest all time.
Juan Soto signing this contract, it eclipsed. It eclipsed. Hold on, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let me show you one thing, Eric. This is kind of wild. And shout out to Underdog MLB. They do a freaking job. I don't know how I would get through life without Underdog notifications, right? Underdog. Look at this.
Yeah,
This is crazy, right?
right.
So and they even had Michael Conforto on there, right? That just happened.
Yeah,
But we're gonna talk about a few of these guys. But 765 million for one player, and Adames, Snell, Severino, Kikuchi, Waka, O'Neal, Holmes, Montaz Boyd, Bieber, and Conforto all signed uh less than what Juan Soto signed. That's crazy. That is insane.
You know what I would love too is I would love to know, and I know it can't be measured right away, but
Hmm.
there's people that can do a pretty good job. But just when you figure it out, what do they really pay for Soto? Because
Hmm.
what's his economic impact on the Mets?
Hmm.
So, like, what is it truly are they paying him? Like
Yeah.
it looks there like they paid him, as much as 11 players, which technically they did, but we all know those 11 players aren't raising the value of your franchise as much as Juan Soto is. So, like, what's the true number you're paying him? Is it 50% of that? Is it
Yeah.
75% of that?
Yeah. uh, so our good friend Asinine, he's not happy about Soto, his favorite player, going to the Mets, and he said he's done with them. He's no
Yeah,
longer.
he said he's going to trade him in our league. I
Yeah, and
mean,
he said he's no longer a Soto fan. He said it's over with. He's dead to him. Even even though I did see something before we got on the internet, before we got on the show, I saw it on the internet on Twitter. Somebody owes him a jersey, so he's gonna get a jersey regardless. The irony,
right.
of it all.
Yeah.
But so now that we got Soto, the domino has fallen. Boom,
Yeah.
right? And now we're starting to see movement, like steady movement, right? The winter meetings is going. They're down there willing and dealing, and they're making moves, and the moves are coming fast and heavy. We're going to talk about some of the moves, some of the bigger moves, some of the smaller moves, so on and so forth. But let's just kind of switch gears and go how the market shifted now. Like, what do you think the market has done, especially for players? We're going to talk about Santander. We're going to talk about Teoscar, other outfielders, money that has to be accounted for now because of this massive deal.
Yeah.
They're not Juan Soto, but they're the consolation prize now. Like, well, maybe not a consolation prize, but they're the you know the second place guys.
Listen, they're the plan B. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way to stand around it. They're the
Yeah.
plan B guys, and now is their time to shine.
Yeah.
You know, I will say this: I'm very proud of Major League Baseball. I mean, the winter meeting started today, and the two biggest names are off the board.
Yep.
And we got a couple big pitchers off the board, especially one and Blake Snell. So I like it, and hopefully that's a thing of, you know, times to come is like the winter meetings or where things happen versus in Valentine's Day, like it has been sometimes in the past.
Yeah, but so a player.
So now the market's got to shift, right? That's what you asked me. So now what happens?
Mm-hmm.
First, you talked about the outfielders. You know, Robert's value shot up 2 points today from 11 to a 13, you know, and change. So, like, you know, as an example, but who lost out? So you're looking at the 3 or 4 teams that lost out. Where do they pivot? What message are they trying to send to counter the deal? Like, I'll have a prediction later where I think Crochet goes, but a lot of it's around where I think Soto went and why I think where he's going to end up. So, I mean, it affects every single player in the Major League Baseball. There's just no way around it. It's that big of a deal.
Yeah, it does. Like, you know, when teams are missing out on the queen of the ball, right? The homecoming queen, you got to take the next one you can get.
That's
right?
it.
You got to take the next one you can
and
get.
You might have to take 2 or 3 just to try to equal the piece that they got. Like, how are you going to make your team feel like you had a good offseason, your fan base like you had a good offseason, you know, your investors, if you have them, like you had a good offseason. How are you going to convince people that, like, I know we didn't get Soto, but look. Like, if you're the Red Sox, it's not the end of the world. They have so many pieces. I mean, what if they do get Santander and Crochet and a Max Fried? Like, can't tell me that's not a good offseason. That'd be a great offseason.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you know, just as when we're talking values, when we're talking contracts, when we're talking whatever, like the Dodgers started something last year with their freaking craziness, right?
Yeah.
And you see it this year. It's right back in our face, right? Yep. And I think it's going to be a continuous thing because, not for nothing, there are a lot of talented baseball players in the MLB, and there are guys that are going to be coming up for contracts, and they're going to need to get paid. And, and as we know, it's just going to do this. It's going to do this. And you said something earlier when we were talking, and it was, well, I kind of get that at the end, kind of a fantasy thing about Soto, but we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
But let's get right into it, right? So we're you know, we cover the White Sox. I know the White Sox are not the best when it comes to these things, but I think there is a vision. I think that there is a direction. Chris Guest may not be the best at it. He may need to, like, you know, put his flag in the ground this year in order to shape the organization in his image or in his vision, right? And so he has to move Garrett Crochet. We've been saying this,
and I heard somebody say maybe even by this week, which just probably makes sense. But listen, like, I think too many people judge Major League Baseball on what the big league team did in one season. And that's just so short-sighted. I mean, you look at, like, what the Royals did. The Royals lost 100 and some games and came back and made the playoffs the following year. Like, 1 year can happen for a player, for an organization, for a deal, or for a thing. But, like, listen, Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn left the biggest hole, and we've talked about why and how come that I've ever seen. They just drove it all the way into the ground. They did the rebuild, and then they didn't do any more building. They didn't move any of it. They just drove it all back in the ground. So here we are.
You let all the values go down, diminish, give people away, for nothing.
They paid Makata and Eloy all the way down. They Anderson went all the way down. Like, it was gross. Gross mismanagement of assets. And you know, I'll tell you another thing that I don't think a lot of your average everyday fan. We had a guy that was rant raving in our chat earlier that they don't understand. People don't run Major League Baseball teams and Major League Football teams or Major League organizations to win titles. They They want them to make money and to add generational wealth and to create their companies worth more.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want them to win titles.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that maybe they should be, but that's not why they're ran. They're ran to create more worth than what it currently is. It's a business, and it's a big, big money business.
I agree. And that's a sad truth. About that. I, I look at the White Sox and I know Jerry Reinsdorf, and he's been doing the same thing for years.
Yep.
I mean, with both organizations he owns, he's done the same thing.
Yep.
He does the same thing. I think he's at a plateau now where he's pretty happy where he's at, and he really don't give a damn about nothing else but keeping it, maintaining it, so on and so forth. But then when you hear the talks and the everything about a new stadium, what's that new stadium going to do? Right? Yeah, you're going to spend money, but at the same time, you're going to make some money.
Yeah, you're adding value. It's now worth more than what it was.
Yeah.
And that's, the big job of owners and GMs around the deal, first and foremost. And the way you raise value, of course, is winning. You can have that argument. Of course it is. But it's also, think about how much, and me personally, I hated it. But think of how much more popular White Sox come when they change their logo to the black and white SOX. You used to never see White Sox stuff around until they went and changed that. Then that became like the cool thing. Everybody had one on. It seemed like there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, so, but
I like where the White Sox are at. I love the moves they've made. I know people for some reason don't think Guest's done a good job, but I think they're crazy. I love the Cease trade. I love the Kopech move, and along with Fetty at the deadline, where we're stacking players. I love the draft, right, where we thought that they would go. For the first time in a long time, there seems to be direction, and I'm here for it. So, now Crochet's up. So how are we going to continue that direction, and where are we going with it? That's what's the fun part to try to figure out.
Yeah, so John Heyman has reported that Soto basically, right? So $765 million, 15 years, $75 million signing bonus, right? State tax advantage, Florida resident, right? About $120 million overpaid 2025. No deferred money. Opt out after 5 years, he'll be age 30. City Field suite for family, estimated value $500K plus a year. So that's the details that he has released on the contract. And he had negative emotions about the Yankees, where the Yankees security removed one of his parents from an area in Yankee Stadium earlier this year. So, Yankees, you screwed the pooch. It is oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah.
I mean, I don't listen, if there's one team that they're on my top 2 or 3 lists that I hope loses all the time. So
me too. I said it earlier. I cannot stand that organization. I hate it. Their dumbass rules.
I can't believe that Brian Cashman has been around as long as he has. He's got all the money in the goddamn world, and they can't figure out a way to. Finally, he made the World Series, but look at the run they've been on.
Yeah.
Mismanaged deals.
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. But I don't care. I hope everything bad happens.
I love, for whatever it was, that 6-7 year stretch watching Tampa just beat the snot out of them.
Right. Yeah. It's just
spend $60 million, you spend $260. I don't care. You're 7 games behind me in the win and loss column. Kick rocks.
Right. So we're finna start getting to some of these Garrett Crochet trade scenarios. Just stick with us. We're going to be talking Garrett Crochet for a little bit because Garrett Crochet is the biggest piece for the Chicago White Sox to move. I think that he has some value, and some teams that are in on him that we was not expecting to be on him. We didn't even do one for the last one that just came out, which was the Yankees. But I think I know why we didn't do. I didn't.
I could have listed him. He was on our very first one. The Yankees were on, but I'm not convinced they have the pieces. But a lot of these teams, I don't think have the pieces. But let's get into it because it'll come up.
It'll come up. All right. So the one. This is the one that shocked me. So I put it first. I was not expecting this to be a actual one. So this is a Dodgers Crochet move. and this is Zahir Hope and I can't even. I got to get closer. Was that
Jose DePaula, yeah.
Jose DePaula? Yeah, Jose DePaula, the outfielder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why this move? Why was this one that we were thinking about? I don't like it, but why this one?
Yeah, well, I mean, it fits. Like, so what are we looking for? We're looking for people, we've talked about it, that high A, maybe double A level, maybe fringe triple A, but we'd rather add to the core of the White Sox where the talent's coming from. And it's coming from, a lot of them are in the high A and the double A deal. So we're looking to add talent right in here. Zaire Hope was absolutely just took the baseball world by storm in the AFL. And DePaula is, on his way to be a stud. They fit the exact situations and deals. The Dodgers continue to be mentioned, but I don't know how serious of a player they are because they're mentioned with everybody. It's kind of like a default just because everybody thinks they're going to get every single player. But
right.
in terms of what the White Sox would be looking for, and this package almost lines up to the dollar, this would be the two pieces that would be most sought after.
Yeah, for sure. And we need outfielders. We do. I would much rather get some infield pieces back. In my opinion, I think that's more important right now.
Yeah, but I wish we could be in a state where we could be that picky that positions matter. But I'm just gonna be honest, we just need talent. I don't give a shit.
We just need talent. Yeah, we
need
just
somebody
need
that can hit the damn ball.
Yeah, for sure. So that's Dodgers, White Sox. Before we move on, this is a good comment. The fact we didn't trade Robert last year when his value was the highest is absolutely ridiculous.
He should have gone preseason last year. I 100% agree. Not much you can do in season with him being hurt and fucking again, but last year off season was the time to move him.
Yep.
It's going to cost us probably $10 million in prospects. The fact that they didn't. He's about a 13. He was like a 23, 25 going into last year. So it's going to cost us a decent prospect. The fact that they did not do it.
Yep.
He's not wrong.
We had trade scenarios for Robert this time last year. Remember?
Yeah.
We literally had, and it was good trades.
And what's gross is you're going to see a lot of those similar guys we wanted last year. Now their value is up.
Yeah.
From when we had them on last year's show.
Yep. So, here we are. So I know this one is kind of going to be like, people are going to be like, but I love it. I love the prospects for this trade. So this trade right here is White Sox Orioles. Orioles, need the fact that Kobe Mayo is not in the future, or I should say, right now he's being blocked by major league talent, and he might not see the field. Ryan O'Hearn just came out of nowhere, just kind of took first base in Baltimore. And Kobe Mayo can play the outfield too, but if Santander doesn't come back, they still just signed Tyler O'Neill. Oh no,
you got Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, it was Tyler O'Neill. Yeah,
you got Tyler O'Neill. You got Mullins. You got Cowser, and you got Hurstad on the outfield.
Yep.
So maybe somebody's DH in there. Around the horn, you got Westberg, Gunnar, Holiday, O'Hearn, and Mountcastle. Mm-hmm. Like, there's not really a spot for Mayo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in love with this one here, but the Orioles continue to be mentioned. And Vance Honeycutt, outfielder out of North Carolina, their first-round pick, down towards the end.
Yep.
Kind of tailed off the second deal, but he was a stud. Like, the value here matches up. I could see this, potentially being a deal. Like, I like other ones better, but if you're talking about Baltimore and talking about what a deal could look like to get done, I think this is the favorite.
Yeah. Would we have liked to get another piece? Maybe, but Mayo's value is there. Like, it's Kobe Mayo. He came in a couple times throughout the season last year. He had a couple good stints with the big league club, and his value shot up. So,
and they can send him one more year. I mean, play the time manipulation, so they technically would have 6 3/4 years of control with Kobe Mayo.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to have 3 or 4 pieces here because the White Sox are so depraved with talent. But, me and my guys argue all the time. Maybe they want a sure thing too. And don't get much more of a sure major league player than Kobe Mayo. So,
yeah. So, that's just, that's it. This is another team that just got mentioned that are in on Crochet, which is like, okay, let's see what we got here. So this is Reds. This is Reds White Sox. Now
Yep.
this one was intriguing. Okay, let me see if I can move this banner for 1 second. So the numbers, it's a little bit of an overpay according to the site, but look at the haul that you can get. Edwin Arroyo is talented. Cam Collier, talented. You know, the other two are, I don't know too much about Alfredo Duno.
So a lot of people are out there trying to talk about the Red Sox, and the Reds. They came up today. The more White Sox personalities, you can go find them. But like, they're trying to talk about like Arroyo being the major piece, and that's not the thing. I don't think the Reds have enough to get it done. This is the max, and I basically robbed everybody the White Sox would be interested in.
Yeah.
And Alfred Duno is nothing but a DH.
Yeah.
For the most part. And I can't see the White Sox making a trade here where like the highest player coming back is a DH only. Like, I feel like they still have PTSD from.
Well, in the comments, they saying they love Cam Collier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that's a possibility. I don't know why it didn't come over. Oh, yeah, 54.3 on the bottom. So it's almost a right. So, like, it's a 0.9 higher. But listen, Crochet's high side on trade values is 61 something.
Yeah.
So I think he's going in between his 53.4 and his 61.
Right.
But I tried to hit the number right on the head as much as we could, but I wouldn't be surprised if they got 60 million worth of assets.
So just so you know, when it says total value, that's what he's talking about. Just total assets, money and player.
And this is strictly in terms of millions.
Yeah.
So Crochet is worth 53.4 million in assets.
Right.
And on the high side, like here, I'll read you the exact numbers because I like to be exact as we can. Crochet's trade value is 53.4, and the high side 64.1.
Wow, that's a big disparity.
So right? If I had to guess, knowing what he's making, knowing the money and the stress people are under, I think he comes anywhere between the 53 and the 61.
Any concerns from major league clubs about his injury history? Because that was a concern for people saying that he's not worth it.
Of course, but being paid like $2.5-3 million kind of offsets some of those concerns. What are you really out? But
yeah,
this goes back to my post from a couple of days ago. I think it's too much for one club to just gut $60 million out of their farm system for 2 years of Crochet. That's why when this thing finally comes to head, I think overall it'll be like a three-way deal where you'll see one club giving up 35 and one club giving up 20 or something along those lines just to lessen the burden.
Yeah. And we'll get to those. So let's go to the next team.
I don't think the Reds have enough. Just to go on the record, I don't think the Reds have enough. I don't think it's close. I don't think. They popped up today, so this was the numbers, but
yeah,
I don't think it's enough.
I don't think they make that move either.
I don't think they do either. Yep. It's giving up 4 pieces, and
then they already have the majority of their young talent on the big club.
Not only that, right? That's what I'm saying. And they kind of got a young little staff with little Dodo and Green.
Yep.
Like they're kind of ready to go forward there. Nick Martini came back, took the qualified offer. So I feel like Cincinnati might have been involved. Like you got to understand how some of these rumors work.
Yeah, Abbott is still growing.
Right. So, you got to understand how these deals work. Somebody heard Cincinnati was talking about the White Sox. They assume it's Crochet. They could be one of the teams in the third trade. They could be trying to get a reliever and trying to send a prospect. Like, they could be the third team mentioned. Doesn't mean that they were in direct contract with Crochet. So, you got to be careful on what you hear.
Yeah. So, let's go to the NL East. Let's go to the NL East. We just went NL Central.
Yeah.
Let's go NL East. So, we have a Phillies one. And you've seen this one before.
Yeah.
One name has changed. Now Griffin Buckholder is now a part of the deal because of the change in Crochet value.
Yep.
The other players that were kind of like throw-ins, they can't be there. It won't
add
up. So we still got Aiden Miller and we got Justin Crawford on this particular deal. And the next one you'll see right now it changes, and then we get this one, right?
Yep.
You get more assets at a little bit of an overpay,
Yep.
but it doesn't seem
It's the
like an
difference
overpay,
between Kaba and Miller
right?
here and how that might look. So I want to see both because in my eyes, he still
Caba's,
he still ends up a Philly.
yeah,
Especially now that Soto went to the Mets.
yeah,
What's the counterpunch? What's Philly going to do now? I mean, they got to try to keep pace in the deal. And we know Dombrowski don't care about prospects. He never has in his career.
yeah,
And they're trying to make a statement. They got Harper. They have Wheeler. They have Nola. They
yeah,
have their pitching staff is pretty much set. Like
yeah.
they are looking to win now, right now.
They have
the
to.
owner wants the title back. The GM wants the title back. Like I still think he ends up with the Philadelphia Phillies, and I think it's around either Kaba and Crawford, which you see here, or the previous one, which was Miller and Crawford,
which is Miller and Crawford. But
I think it's around those.
There has to be them three players. Them three players have in some combination of those three.
Yep.
That's where we will see. But to your point, now that Juan had set the market and went to the Queens, New York, to the Mets, now that whole division has to say, "Holy shit, we were here last year, and the Mets gave everybody a run without Soto." Right? I mean, they gave everybody the flux without Soto. Right? Now you have Soto. You bring back Alonso. What do you have? What can you do, Philly? You don't. And here's the other part. And you didn't do this one, and I'm kind of shocked that you didn't do it.
I already know you're going to say.
Yeah.
And my buddy Kevin's going to tell me the same thing. But go ahead.
Yeah. You had. This is how you could get this deal done. You package Robert.
Yeah.
You package Robert, and you send Robert and Crochet to Philly.
Yeah.
Right. You send both of them, and you just rip the farm system out.
Yep. Now you're talking. If you're talking 12 or 13 more points, go back. What was Kaba?
Kaba was. Wait a minute. Wrong one. Kaba was 22.2.
Like, listen, so you're at 57 there.
Yep.
So if you take out the 9 and put me at 51, say you take out Rincon on this one, you put back in the other deal, you put back at 51, you put back in Miller, takes you to 78, and Crochet on the high side and Robert like 74, like yum, or whatever. If you can get it done, that's the answer. But you and Kevin are both 100%. We're like, why don't you just take everybody? Go ahead and send them over there. Take them all. And
because they need an outfielder. They need an outfielder.
I'm in. They need a center fielder is what they need. Like too many people, by the way. If you see any of the Phillies counts that are talking about Santander, talking about Teoscar Hernandez, they're not. Shut up. They have March. They're already trying to get rid of Castellanos out of right. They have so many left fielders and right fielders. They have them coming out of the woodwork.
They need a center fielder that can hit the baseball. They need a center fielder,
and Robert makes a lot of sense. So now you're looking at 75 to 85 package deal.
Yeah,
drop Rincon out of this, get Aiden Miller added, and roll the dice.
Yeah, I mean, and at the same time, they have talented defensive center fielders. They have two.
Yeah, Rojas is awesome, right?
Two talented defensive center fielders, but they can't put the bat to ball like Robert. And then you take that and you package that with the fact that he can run, right? He can run when needed, and he's a Gold Glove center fielder.
Yep.
So now you package that with Crochet, so
they have Turner, they have Harper, they're ready, they're ready to go, right?
Yeah. And like Justin just said, everyone is a corner guy in Philly except Stott.
What's that?
Everyone's a corner outfielder except Bryson Stott.
Yeah.
Like and
they've been.
Big computer is computing right now.
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't mind moving Trey Turner to left field if you want to be honest with you. Like they got corner outfielders for days. So
So this is the one we think is actually going to happen.
I think he ends up in Philadelphia one way or another.
Some
either
combination.
A three-way deal or straight trade. I'm going to guess Jared Crochet is with the Phillies.
Yeah. So that's our prediction. I agree with you. I personally, I'm going to put my stamp on. It's going to be both of them.
Yeah, you're not out of line.
It's going to be both of them. That's my prediction, and we might still see a three-way trade in a big blockbuster to get Alec Bohm out of Philly,
Yeah.
and we see more prospects coming back to Philly because they're going to gut their farm system in order to get players.
They could definitely go that route.
I
Like they
think they
could
will.
make. So if you're Philly, you kind of got a choice here. Like that's a
Yep.
very interesting point.
Yep.
And you're right, Justin. I am fired up a little bit in computing. But if you have, you kind of got a choice. I'll give you an example. You could send Baum to Seattle.
Right.
Seattle could send the White Sox a 25 value prospect. You send the White Sox like a 35 prospect. I'm
Right.
sure I probably have it over there in one of our scenarios where we get like Cole Young and Aiden Miller, for example, in some
Right.
kind of ordeal. Or
Right.
listen, if you're the manager, you could be like, let's go to your example. I want Crochet and I want Robert.
Mhm.
You can have my farm.
Yep.
Seattle, here is
Baum.
Alec Baum.
Send
Give
me
me
some
back-
prospects.
Give me back 25, 30 million with the prospects. So I get back half of what I just sent out, basically a little less than that. And I'm going to build off of that. And my big league club's ready to win right now. And let's go. Like,
And that's the scenario I believe is going to happen. That's my scenario.
yeah.
Like legit. Like you have to keep up with the Joneses. Right now, it is the Mets division to win. On paper.
Like
On
people underestimate how
And
much
yes,
buzz,
Caleb Turner could play center field. Yes, he could. But I think they're gonna do that.
people underestimate the buzz. They underestimate what being on top, how much value that drives.
Yeah.
So right now, the Mets have all the headlines, right? They have all the deals, all the worries, every press, everything. Merchandise is flying off the shelves.
Off the
Tickets are
shelves.
flying off the shoes. Sweet prices went up 15% when they signed them. Like, all that shit happened, or whatever. Like, now they're looking for who's next or who can get back in the headlines or what's the counterpunch for some of these teams in the East.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to that comment, Caleb, at the end of all the Crochet talk. I'm gonna come back to that and see what Eric thinks about that because I don't know. We're gonna. He made an interesting comment just now. So.
You could see a three-way deal with Baum. You could see a three-way deal with Horner. You could see a three-day deal with Belly. Like, you could draw some of them stuff up. It's hard for major league clubs to make trades that are competitive with each other because they're both trying to win, like right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I've seen some moronic stuff saying they'll trade Alec Baum for Munoz, the closer. No, they're not. Seattle's trying to win. They ain't trading their goddamn young closer. They ain't moving them. They're trying to win.
No,
that's where like somebody like the White Sox can get involved and move stuff around. So
and I disagree with this. I would say the Mets are still the third best team in the division. Disagree. Hard disagree.
I don't know.
I disagree.
Well,
you know what? Let's pin that for when we do our season preview.
We can do it. I mean, I'll just real quick. I don't know. Chris Sale would be a sell for me. I don't think he can do what he did back to back. I don't think he has any chance to win.
And they're losing free this year.
He almost had like a 6-year, 7-year drought, and all of a sudden he pops up and wins the Cy Young. He hasn't thrown that many innings. And Lopez, I know he's your guy, and I know you love him, but yes, he was great last year.
That's Ian's guy, not Caleb's.
Are you really going to be able to repeat that? So I know they get Strider back, but Fried's gone. I think Atlanta's probably an arm short, to be honest with you. But
even with the debut and outburst of Swelly, you still missing an arm.
I still think you're missing one arm there.
I mean, Shaver ain't it.
Yeah.
AJ Smith-Shawver.
You're going to get in the playoffs. You want that 1-2 punch.
Well, what about the other kid they have? What's his name? The young pitcher. He came up and pitched. He has a real simple name, and I can't even think of it right now. It's like, God damn it, what's his name? But he was serviceable. He was serviceable.
They got enough. I just don't know if they have.
Yeah.
I would say Phillies are probably the class, and I can see the Mets. Atlanta's probably 2. He's probably not wrong, but it's close. It's close, a lot closer than what it used to be.
Yeah. So let's just take a little announcement break. If you are on YouTube, if you can, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you already have it, Okay. If you're on Twitter, thank you for everything that you're doing, watching us on Twitter. But if you can, slide over to YouTube, just hit the subscribe button for us.
Yeah, we'd
Like the
appreciate
show.
it. We'd appreciate
We
it.
would definitely appreciate that. And
And
we're
I
just gonna
know over the 3 years, Ray and I have been in and out, but like we've both made the commitment, like this is our thing now. Like
every
this is our
Monday.
deal. We're
Every
here.
Monday,
This
three
is what we're
o'clock.
talking about. Like, let's go.
Yep. Yep. So like this is a commitment thing, and no more. Like we might take a day off here or two, but this is a steady thing now. So
Yeah, agreed.
this is what we do. So so let's go back to some trade scenarios for Garrett Crochet, because they're options, and we're not
Listen,
opposed to any of them.
Somebody DM me and goes, "How many teams do you really think are involved with Crochet?" I said, "Every single one that's competing."
Right.
Would want him. Who wouldn't want a $3 million possible 2-year control deal? Like literally anybody could get him.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
there's not a lack of pool size for Jared Crochet.
Yeah. So here's a team that's still in the running. All right. Let's go Red Sox. Now this one has pissed people off. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, we get Marcelo Mayer.
I got asked for this and said, what could a deal look like if I'm banging Christian Campbell and Frankie, like their young kid. I'm banging that every drum to anybody that'll listen. But he was like, what does it look like if they don't give us Anthony or they don't give us Christian Campbell? And I'm like, really, it's this, which I am not excited about. But like, listen, we got to talk about it. The values match up. White Sox obviously haven't needed shortstop. I mean,
we don't need one player. We need multiple players.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see it. I don't love it, but I got to ask for it. So here it is. They don't have enough. You get outside of this, there's not enough. If you're not doing Anthony, you're not doing Campbell, you're not doing Mayer. Even though they got a great system, there's not enough to get to 55, 60 in value in that system.
Right. Yeah, it's not. It's not enough.
I mean, you can throw Kyle Teal, Frankie, Cespedes kid, like you can get to like 40-ish, 45-ish, but like there's not enough there.
Yeah. So you got a second deal. This one looks more right.
Yep. Yep.
This is
I mean, what I thought about Braden Montgomery in the draft. And Franklin Arias, I'm all over. Like as much as please, like if we could get him, love it. Young Cespedes kid. Yeah, I mean, this is one they could get if they're going to go ahead and put Braden in. I could see this potentially getting done. Now, it was going to take a little bit more than a couple of shows ago, maybe, but they could get this done.
Yep.
And here's your 3 or 4 pieces that you're looking for.
Yep.
I wish the White Sox were in a spot where Kobe Mayo was the answer or that Mayer was the answer, but they're not. They need 3 or 4 people. Like we're deprived of talent, hitting talent.
Yep. So let's go to the 3-way deal that we kind of came up with, and this is only because I had my thing with the Cubs.
Yeah, and there's a little buzz around it still down to winter meeting supposedly.
And the Cubs fans kind of just anyway. Let's just show it. So if you can't see it, it's kind of cut off. But Nico Horner goes to the Mariners. Cubs get Crochet and Matt Shaw and what's his name right there?
What's that?
Matt Shaw and Cole Young. Cole
Young, the shortstop.
Yeah, Cole Young and Matt Shaw come to the White Sox. So it's cut off right there, but that's the
Cole Young, Matt Shaw. Now the Cubs would owe us a little piece here still. You can see we're at $4 million. They have $5 million. I don't care. Pick your favorite little prospect, but I could see this being a 3-way trade as an example to get it done. That way it only costs the Cubs 27, add 5, 30 million in their prospects, doesn't cost them the full 60 to get Crochet.
Yep.
And the Mariners get what they've been looking for in Nico, and they give us 1 prospect.
Yep. I don't like it though. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
I love Shaw. I had him on my fantasy team.
I know.
I think Cole Young's decent, but again, there's a few guys that I want back in this deal, and like, I wouldn't. I do like Shaw. I'm not going to lie about Shaw. I think he's got huge upside. As a matter of fact, ball point, buddy. ADD,
it's ball point.
People call me crazy. So like, I want some of the young upside freak out talent. I want DePaula, or I want Hope, or I want like some of those young guys that might turn into something. Like the Padres have been recently brought up again, DeVries, but like that's what I'm hoping we get back out of it. But we need 3 or 4 pieces in it. So you're going to have to go younger. But I think Franklin Arias for the Red Sox could be that guy. But
yeah. So the funny thing is like just when we think we know the teams that are in on Crochet, another team pops up today, and I said, "Holy shit, Eric! It's the team that you know. It's the team that you love. The organization." I said, "Holy shit, Eric's gonna have fun with this one." I sent you the message. You was like, "I'm on it already. I got it. I'm on it." Right? Yeah. And this is the Milwaukee Brewers.
Like, it was so funny. I posted on Twitter today talking in another group with Kevin. He's like, this was last Wednesday. He's like, any surprise teams we're not talking about? And I said the Brewers.
Yeah.
Because the Brewers were so smart. Trading Corbin Burns, we've been on this every episode last year, was just genius in a one-year run. Those 25 starts aren't going to save you. Like, I could see them trading for Crochet, using him for a year and a half and dumping him, like right before at the deadline, for example. But they have avoiding. Listen, you know how much I love this system. Brock Wilken is way down here.
Yeah.
The only reason he's way low here, like this value is probably 10 low, 12 low. He got hurt last year. He took a 94, 95 to the face and blew up his face last year. Didn't play a ton. John's thing, always on the injuries, kind of tags him. But it wasn't like it was a hamstring or something else. It was like he got hit in the face with a ball. So, I mean, on the energy. But I love the Brewers. This trade here, I would be ecstatic. I think you're talking about, I think Jesus Made's got potential number 1 prospect written all over him. I love Cooper Pratt. Brock Wilken, I think, is what people think Junior Cameron is going to be. And the Eric kid has a little bit upside too. Like, here's 4 offensive talent guys right in that age group to add immediately into our farm. All of a sudden, you start looking at them. You pair them with Wolkow. You pair them with
and I love Jesus
Zavala. You pair them with your guy Perez and the other dude we got from the Dodgers. Like, and the guys we just drafted. Like, now you match them with the pitching. You can see where the 27 contender light starts to flash on.
Yep. Yeah, Jesus Made is the real deal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
would have to double check really quick. Let's just do this to show you how much I love personally the Brewers farm system. On my fantasy team, I have Lucas Adams, Brock Wilken, Jesus Made, and Cooper Pratt. I have 4 Brewers on my fantasy team alone.
Yeah.
They can develop. The organization's underrated.
Yeah.
Like, please make a deal with the Brewers one way or another.
Yeah. Speaking of fantasy, in honor of the winter meetings, Fantrax finally released 2025 projections today.
Did it?
Yep. So you can see projections for your players today if you are on fantasy. I don't know what Yahoo's done. I haven't checked Yahoo, but definitely Fantrax updated their fantasy projections for 2025 today. So check that out. And see how your team might shake out next year. And if you're in the home league, I hope you brought your bats because I got some thumpers.
Yeah.
I got some thumpers and some guys that are going to be, it's going to be fun. I can't wait for next year. And as you saw, there was like 16 notifications of me changing
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? My phone was going berserk.
It was
and I was like,
me.
oh, Ray's changing the schedule.
Yeah, I'm trying to change the schedule, but my main thing, I wanted to try to get you versus Caleb as like a week one championship rematch
Yeah.
or whatever. But every time I hit it, it would never hit. But then it finally hit on this one, where it's basically semifinals redo.
Yeah.
It's like semifinals redo, and then it's also the 5, 6, 7, 8 matchups
I saw
going
that.
at it again. I was like, there it is. That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a
when you
good
see
one.
who's improved, who's not. Obviously, the first
Yeah.
week's always a little tough, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad the league's back on. I'm excited for the buzz. It feels right with the winter meetings buzz going on in our league, simultaneously having action going on. Like part of the experience for me in a dynasty route is you want to feel like you're an owner, and like if the winter meetings are going on, like we should be making deals and cutting and doing players. So
And
I
we
think it's
are doing that.
What's that?
And we are doing that.
They are doing that. They are doing that. So
Yeah. And I'm
you know,
not
I like it.
I'm
I
not
like
getting
it.
rid
I'm
of any.
excited for it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know I say it every year. Nobody ever believes me, and I know you're going to be a bigger threat than you were last year, but somebody's going to have to dethrone Caleb Bryant. I mean, right now, I don't know. I don't know how it gets done. I don't know how it gets done.
All I know is I'm coming for both of y'all. Like
I know,
this year.
and you're definitely the next tier threat, or whatever the case. But
yeah,
but we have 2 years, 2 running years. The title match has been Caleb and I.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to have to prove that it's not that.
Yeah, well, don't remind me because it would have been me and you. It would have been me and you had I made one move.
Right.
Motherfucker.
Right.
But anyway.
it would have been you. And this whole conversation would have been different.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I can't wait for the next year of fantasy. Speaking of next year fantasy, number 1 overall pick has already been set in our league. It is. Where is the doggone banner? Roki Sasaki posted today at the beginning of I want to say at the 8 o'clock hour this morning. MLB teams have 45 days today to negotiate a contract for Roki Sasaki, Japanese superstar pitcher. We've been talking about him. I know I've been talking about him for at least 2 years. He is a sensational pitcher. I think he's better than Yamamoto. He's younger than Yamamoto, and he's just a stud, right? And he's officially been posted this morning, and we're going to see where he goes. Like the kid is 21 or 21 years old. I want to say 21. And he's just a stud. Like his stuff, I can't wait for TJ. Shout out to TJ Stats. I can't wait for him to do his thing with Roki Sasaki's stuff, just to see how it is just dominant stuff, and I think it's going to translate well. He's going to have his ups and downs just like Yamamoto did, but they pitch to quality hitting in Japan, and it is what it is.
I mean, I know everybody's got him consensus number 1. You know how I feel about that. I mean, everybody's got him like consensus number 1 by like a mile, but like, I don't know. If it was my first pick, I don't think I'm going there myself, but especially in our league, but to each.
Well, the person that's picking him number 1 has the very next pick, and then 2 picks later, and then another pick. So
like, he's got all the picks, right? So he's going to get whoever he wants for the most part.
Yeah, he's hoarding resources. So but at the same time, that's a strategy for him. This is a dynasty league. Like we're going to be doing this for year to year. So he's really turning the corner on his performance last year. I think that owner is going to be more of a threat than he was last year.
Yeah, everybody gets a little sharper, and I'll still stick to the census. Like nothing wakes you up faster than missing the playoffs.
Nope. That was my wake up call.
And I think Dan got it, and I know a couple other people got it, or whatever. So like you could tell by the moves they were making towards the end of the deadline, they were preparing for this year, much like how you and I approached the Yahoo draft before they rugged us.
Yep,
Like
they fucking
they rug pulled on us. But
yeah,
yeah.
they pulled a rug from underneath our feet. And shout out to Dre with a healthy team. He's gonna be a fucking threat. Uh, every time I
Yeah, I
look at him,
gotta wonder if he didn't make a mistake. I mean, I'll go
you
on the
saw
record
it.
and say he made a mistake. Like not managing last year as hard as he could have. There's little idiosyncrasies on the week to week that sways like one game, 2 games, points
It,
total here and there. And like till you go through that exercise one time, it's not as easy as everybody thinks.
no, for sure. I agree with that. I agree with that. Um, but the fact that he set his lineup probably 5 times in the last 3 months, and
He
was
was
still
beating people
and
without even
still
doing anything. Like,
still beating people,
yeah.
and now he's like motivated to do better.
Yeah.
Like, and his team is damn good. So I can't wait for this season. March 27th, we kick this thing back off in our home league. And then we got the big league coming, and we have just it's gonna be fun. So Willie Adames signed 7 year, $182 million with the Giants, and I did not see the Giants as the one he would go to. But then you see Michael Conforto goes to the Dodgers, right?
Yep.
1 year, $17 million deal. But I think that's more he couldn't go back to the Giants anyway. So Willie Adames is now the starting shortstop for the Giants, and I don't know exactly what direction the Giants are going right now, to be honest.
Well, let me just throw a little scenario out here. You and I talked about it when the trade went down. And I probably, and I'll make a commitment to be a little more active on Twitter. But the first time I saw this, I thought this put the Giants in consider for Crochet. And that's what you and I were talking about. Like, because you don't go sign Chapman to an extension. You don't go spend the money on Willie Adames and the deal. So I think you could see, and there would be a certain left-handed bat out of the Giants deal in Bryce Eldridge that I would love to pair with Volkow in the future.
Yeah.
For the White Sox. And he was a two-way stud, or whatever, but he was just smashed this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants got involved.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I would not be surprised either. They're also in on Corbin Burns, by the way. Just to put that out there.
No, I know they're going to try to get other free agents in the world, but they're up against a couple things. Not a lot of, and I'm just going to be straight and honest. Not a lot of people love San Francisco as a city.
Yeah.
And their taxes are outrageous.
And their taxes are insane.
So they're up against a couple things that players care about. That's why initially I tricked back to the trade market. Like some teams have got to operate in the trade market, and some people can operate in free agency. And I think the Giants, Buster Posey is now running the operations over there.
Yeah.
I could see him making a move for Crochet.
Yeah, they say they're not trading Doval too. So
yeah, they're trying to win.
Yep.
Even though I don't. Good luck in the West.
Yeah, good luck in the West. We already talked about Tyler O'Neill. He did sign a 3-year deal with the Orioles. He had a show me and prove it year last year, and he proved it. He did have a couple injury stints as his norm, but he still hit like 22 bombs or something.
Exit Velo King, Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah,
just smashing balls.
And then they moved the left field in.
Moved the left field in and having to go sign Willie Sanchez and Tyler O'Neill, a couple of right-handed power bats. But like this one's interesting. Like I didn't see this coming. This was probably shocking to me because, like I said, with Kowser, Kirkstad, Mullins, I know they lost Santander, but like they have Mayo.
Yep.
But they brought this one. Maybe Mayo's a White Sox. I don't know.
We shall see. This was the one that everybody laughed at, right? Everybody was like, what the hell is this? Right?
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, right? Luis Severino signed a 3-year, $67 million deal with the Oakland with the nameless A's.
Yeah.
Cityless A's. Yeah. Cityless A's. So yeah, everybody was like, what is he doing? Yeah. you know, Vegas, baby, Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, that's where they're headed. I mean, he probably won't. He'll barely be on that train the last year. But I mean, this is Vegas money. This is trying to. When somebody don't think you're a serious franchise and you're getting ready to move into the big city of Las Vegas, they're trying to show that they're a serious franchise. So they said, we're not trading Roker, not trading anybody. Not only that, here, I'm going to sign this guy to $22.33 million a year.
Yep. And so you know, I think the Conforto move, it speaks volumes to my guy Heliot Ramos, how much they think that he's going to just be a stud.
Yeah, and the Dodgers is interesting too. Like he can still play the outfield a little, but not a ton.
Yeah.
And they have so many random pieces out there.
Yeah.
That they kind of just mix and match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like one thing I love, and I know people hate it, especially the old heads. Justin hates it. But like positionless baseball is kind of becoming like a thing.
Yep.
I mean, you watch the Yankees trade for Jazz, who had never played third baseman in their life, and they're treating it like a softball lineup. Go ahead and jump on the third, bud. You'll be fine. Whatever. They grab Edmund and go ahead and play short. It's fine. Like, Mookie, play whatever the hell you want. Like, take different spots, different deals. Like, there's no more. A lot of times your specialists that we used to grow up with aren't there anymore. Now it's kind of like, can you hit? If you can hit, I'll stick you somewhere. I don't know where, but I'll find a place to have you play.
Yeah. The Giants are also in on another Japanese pitcher, Sugano.
Yeah, the older one, right? The one that's kind of like the Shota of last year's class or whatever.
Just a little news and notes we're going through right now, everybody. We just doing.
Yeah, and that's another route they can go because they can just win the bidding war there. But like I said, they're trying to win. But what are you going to do? You're against the Padres and you're against the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. Good luck.
That's a tough hill. That's a tough hill to climb.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Diamondbacks had a year last year where they were kind of just dealing with a lot of injuries. They dealt with the sophomore slump for Carroll. They dealt with just different things, but
and their mood just blew in their face.
Yeah.
Rodriguez was hurt.
Yep.
I was a better pitcher than Montgomery was last year, and I didn't even throw.
Yep. So it was just a turmoil.
Like some of the moves kind of blew up in their deal, but they still got a good young core. Be interested to see what they do. They're going to lose Walker off of first.
Mm-hmm. What if Walker ends up in? What if Alonso doesn't go back to New York, but they get Walker?
Yeah, I mean that I could see that avenue as well. I have a feeling that Cohen is the opposite of our owner, and he wants to be loved.
Yep.
And that has value for him.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, when you own a business, which we've both done, and you've done stuff, sometimes, depending on the individual, it's more about loving and raising them, and sometimes it's more about hard truths. And I think Cohen wants to be able to go out in public and be loved. And the biggest way to get loved is bring back the polar bear. He's loved, absolutely loved in that city.
Yeah. And he's I'm trying to see.
But you had to make him promises because to Caleb's point earlier, the Mets are still a couple pieces short.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, what's their outfield look like? You got Nemo, right?
Yep. Nemo.
Bader left.
They got the older guy.
Yeah. Marte's still out there, right? Marte's out there still.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you got a hole out there kind of too. And then the rotation's got some holes. I know they're trying to Clay home and starter stuff.
Yeah, I'm fit to pull Clay Holmes up right now.
I know they're going to try that.
Let me just pull up. Yeah, so Clay Holmes.
There you go. They're talking about making him a starter. They signed one other. Who else did the Mets sign? That was starting pitcher. It wasn't headline, but
yeah, they signed. I know who you're talking about. They signed. I can't even think of it. But you're right. They signed up another. They signed another one.
Can't think of who it was.
Yeah, but yeah, Clay Holmes. Let's see if the
Yeah, I'm talking about making him a starter, right?
and they said Caleb said their pitching rotation is the worst in the division.
Oh, they signed Frankie Montas.
Frankie Montas, yeah, but we covered that last week. So yeah, so Montas was it. Yeah,
Montas went to the Mets, so I
but
mean, I think it was a little bit of a.
he's not bad.
It's not bad, but like Caleb's not wrong.
You
They're
got
missing that top end piece.
Manea, Holmes. Uh,
No, Manea's gone.
Manea's gone.
Yep, free agent.
Damn. Oh shit. That's what that just means. Peterson.
They lost Peterson, Miguel, Holmes, Manana.
Yeah.
They're missing.
Kitana. Yeah.
He gone too.
Kitana's gone.
He's a free agent as well.
God damn. Well, they got a couple of decent young guys in this farm system. Brandon Sproat and the other young kid that I had for a while last year. But we shall see what they do. I don't know. But Caleb says, yeah, Phillies, Miami, Atlanta, Nats, Mets. Last in the division.
Yeah, he's not wrong, but you know what can fix that a lot is a checkbook.
There's a checkbook. Yeah. Yeah. So he's saying that's the NL East.
And we've had the Mets in on Crochet before. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm ready. And like I said, I'm excited. Today's the first day of the MLB winter meetings, and the top two signings are off the board.
Yep. So Juan Soto is off the board, like you just said. So now teams have to pivot. These are the two best outfielder free agents out there. Where would they sign? I have an idea that Teoscar is going back to LA, and this might be a shocker, but I think that Santander will end up in Toronto.
Yeah, I got to think Toronto gets one of them.
Yep, because he's drawing interest from the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Yankees. I'm pretty sure he's going to Toronto.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think the Red Sox can strike out either. After the last offseason they had and a deal and then being this close, I think the Red Sox have almost got to get one of these two guys.
I'm getting Santander to San Francisco.
Yeah. I mean, it's not impossible. They're willing to pay, and like on his contract, they would give him the extra year. Is probably what he's looking for, even though that's
if Teoscar doesn't go back to LA.
Well, the Conforto signing kind of confuses me on their Hernandez thing a little bit.
Yeah. Like, are they in on him or are they not?
And plus, if you're a dynasty owner, the 4 worst words, is it 4? 6 worst words you could hear was he was traded to the Giants. Like, is like the worst hitting park in the history of hitting. Like, that's the last thing you want to hear as a fantasy owner. It was like, he was traded to the Giants.
Yeah.
Like Adames.
Yeah, but this is their outfield. This is their outfield right now out there. Encarnacion, who came up late last year, he had a pretty good little debut. We're talking about Gerard Encarnacion.
Yeah.
Jung-Hoo Lee, who got hurt early, didn't play the rest of the year, but should be back. Luis Matos, who is topsy-turvy at best.
Yep.
You and I both had him. No, I didn't have him. But at the same time, he's just what is he going to be? Right? Grant McCray, that's another one that came on late last year and was producing in that lineup. So, maybe that made Conforto more expendable to have McCray and the combination of him and Encarnacion show up. I don't know Wade Meckler. I don't remember him too much. I think he's a defensive
Well, you got Ramos, right?
And then you got Elliot Ramos, and you got Mike Yastrzemski. Yes.
They could use. I mean, they're going to need a little more talent. I hate being in between.
Yeah.
And I feel like, by the way, there's a couple of our dynasty owners. Your team's in between, and if you don't know what that means, you should go figure it out. But like, stuck between having a couple of stars and not being any good. Like overall, like I feel like the Giants are in between. I don't like it. I don't like
Pick a lane and stick to it.
Yeah, you either got to, if you're going now, you better keep going because you're still a couple pieces short if you think you're competing in the West. Like, Adamas, great sign, cool, got it. He'll move some merchandise, but he ain't getting you over the top of the Dodgers or the Padres on his own.
Nope.
I feel like they're stuck. I feel like, so that's why I brought up the idea of Crochet and Eldridge coming to the White Sox. But I think we're going to find out this week on the White Sox. I think by next Monday, he'll probably be in a different uniform.
Yeah, so hold on 1 second. So let's see. I thought I had it up there. So free agents left. Where are they going? Let's see. Let's guys pull up the MLB top 20, top 25. Top
yeah, 20. Let's run through a few.
Let's run through a few. Yeah, let's do that. Close out the show. Shout out to everybody that's been here. Shout out to everybody that just got here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting. If you can, just, if you're on YouTube, just like and subscribe, please. We're here every Monday at 3 o'clock, breaking down baseball.
Hey, the first one I know, I think it's the Mets.
That's I was like, what is he talking about? And I didn't realize because I haven't looked at it. I was doing something else, and I'm talking about, just doing some announcements or whatever. And you say that, and I'm just like, what the fuck is Eric talking about? In my mind, I'm like, So here we go. Let's go.
1 and 2 are gone. Two's got to be.
Yep. Oh, okay. So Corbin Burns. Mets, Orioles, Red Sox. What do you think, Corbin Burns?
I think you hit on the head earlier. Give me the Giants.
Giants, yep.
I think they'll spend the money and give him the extra year.
Roki Saki. Padres is the name I'm hearing the most.
They seem to be making a really late charge, don't they? From everything I've heard too.
All I'm seeing is Padres. I mean, the Yankees. I mean, the Dodgers are in.
Here's a little fantasy news.
What?
Mookie Betts.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Preparing to play shortstop next year.
Yep. Blake Snell, we know where he is, right?
Yeah.
He's with the Dodgers.
Bregman. I heard Bregman and Red Sox are firing up a little bit.
Oh yeah, I just saw that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bregman.
They've been trying to figure. I mean, he's been willing to move to second base too. So interesting.
Oh, look at that. D-backs. That's interesting. D-backs. That's an interesting name in there. And I think we can just count out the Mariners if our deal goes through, right?
I don't think the Mariners had the money to do it. I think they would rather trade.
Yeah. So let's see. How did it go back up? That's crazy. Let's see. Who was the next one we had here? Max Fried.
Yeah.
I don't know about Cubs, Padres, Rangers. I think he is.
I would say I don't like any three of those. I would say if I had to give a top three, I think it's probably Red Sox. We know they're in the market.
Yeah. Santander, I already gave my prediction. I'm saying it's Blue Jays. And here's another reason why. I've had Santander for the last 2 years in fantasy. And when he gets to Toronto, he crushes the baseball.
Yeah.
I don't know. He likes that stadium. I don't know why. He crushes the baseball. He hits grand slams. I think he's got the most grand slams in that stadium, to be honest. Pete Alonso. We both think he's going back to the Mets.
I think he's going back to the Mets. I think everybody knew it when second he signed.
Yep. So
how did they have Willie Adames on at 9? This must be an older article.
No, this. They have the update. It's updated. They have right up underneath. Well, it should have had it underneath there. The other ones had.
I don't know how Adames was 9. He was number 2 in my.
Oh, this is a funny name here. Jack Flaherty. He moved twice last year. He started with the Tigers. I had him with the Tigers.
Yeah.
I had him with the Dodgers. I love what he did. He had a bounce back year. Uh, he was a top prospect at one point in time, and now he's back to pitching at a high level. I don't know where he goes. Maybe he goes back to LA.
It might be the
I've also
Mets.
heard.
I mean, listen, Caleb's not wrong. Mets need pitching. And, he's going to get a little bit of a deal, but it's not going to be like it's going to break the bank. It's not like what Fried and Burns and boys are going to get.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Tanner Scott. I just saw his name in something. I forget maybe. I forget who I saw. Shane Bieber.
He already back in Cleveland. Yeah, he's back in Cleveland.
Yeah. Christian Walker.
I'll tell you something, too, and I'm hoping this becomes a thing for our beloved team. But there's something about Cleveland. Players like to stay there. Bieber took less money. Jose Ramirez didn't even test the market, took club-friendly deal.
Mm-hmm.
Something about that organization, the players like to be there.
Yeah, this is true.
A lot of these players are already. I'll tell you one name. Go back up one. I think it was 18.
Oh, there's Scherzer? Oh, he's 40.
I saw Torres on there.
Oh, yeah, I saw Glaber. Yeah, Glaber's on there.
I tell you what, if he falls down to a one-year deal, he could fit our beloved team.
I don't know what it's jumping all around. So
that's all right. Kill it. We probably should go anyway. It's hour 22. But Glaber Torres could fit in the White Sox. Tradable piece at the deadline. Play for half a year. If he falls down to a one-year deal.
Yeah. So another prediction in the comments is Max Kepler goes to the Yankees.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't announce that one just yet. They'll run Max Kepler out of town after losing out on Soto. But yeah, I don't. you know, I love Max for years. He's a savant, stud.
Yeah,
Kepler is. He never quite put it all together, but I like him.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that we covered a lot of bases.
Here we go. Speaking of the guy I hate, Cashman announcement. Yankees will be aggressive this offseason, but we will not be drunken sailors. Like you're the New York Yankees. Go win.
You're the drunken guy for not doing what you're supposed to do to get the team to championships.
Right.
Like what are you talking about? You're the drunkard.
100%.
Yeah. Like, Alex Cobb signed with the Tigers. Yeah, so nothing.
I'm guessing next week, Bud, we'll have another whole handful to go through.
Yeah, but we also got to get back. We got to do our second baseman next week.
We got to do our second baseman next week.
Yep, so next week we're going to probably touch on a couple signings, but it's going to be fantasy focused next week. We're going to go back to our position rankings with second base being the focus next week. Second base should be pretty simple. We might only do top 10, with second base being a weak position.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. A lot of, like you said, a lot of second basemen.
It's a lot of it's a lot of cross or whatever. Second base and shortstop is going to cross a lot. So we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate everybody for spending your time with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, keep the DM questions coming.
Matter of fact, I don't want to use that rhyme anymore. I just thought about who said it. But anyway, thank you guys. And once again, before you go, just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't so far. And thank you guys on Twitter. Thank you guys on YouTube for rocking with us. We appreciate it. And we're going to turn the lights off in here.
All right, Ray.